good evening, good morning, whenever you see this video. Thanks so much for joining me, Dorothea, on Through an Orthodox Christian Lens. It's July 19th, 2025. This is on the coattails, or whatever you want to call it, of it's kind of the coattails of my last video, still having to do with Ukraine and about Zelensky. So let's just go right to this article. Zelensky may not last much longer, Seymour Hersh says. Very reputable journalist. The political future of Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky. I thought he was Vladimir. Maybe that's the Ukrainian way of saying it. I don't know. The political future of Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky appears increasingly uncertain, according to officials in Washington, cited by legendary journalist Seymour Hersh. The prospect of the politician being replaced by former armed forces commander Valery Zelensky is reportedly growing amid waning domestic support and mounting frustration in Washington. Zelensky suspended national elections under martial law and opted not to step down after his presidential term officially ended in 2024. His former top military commander, who was dismissed earlier this year and later appointed ambassador to the UK, has reportedly long been considered a potential successor. Zelensky is on a short list for exile if U.S. President Donald Trump decides to make the call, the veteran reporter wrote on Friday. One U.S. official familiar with internal discussions suggested that Zelensky refuses to step down, which they believe is the most likely scenario. If Zelensky refuses to step down, which they believe is the most likely scenario, he may ultimately be removed by force. Zelensky is currently seen as the most credible successor to Ukraine's leader, according to knowledgeable officials in Washington, cited by Hersh, who added that the job could be his within a few months. Interesting. A few months. Zelensky's popularity, which soared to 90% in the early months after the Ukraine conflict escalated in February 2022, has steadily declined due to battlefield setbacks and ongoing economic difficulties. The latest polls suggest that only 52% of Ukrainians still trust him, while 60% would prefer he not seek another term. Oh, that's interesting. That's still over 50% of the people supporting him. I just find that very, very odd, considering 1.5 million people, 1.5 million soldiers that have died, men that have died in this war, and how Zelensky has been pretty much dictatorial on many things. I'm surprised it's that high still. I thought it would be down in the 30s. In any case, Western media outlets have recently shifted their tone, with some portraying Zelensky as increasingly authoritarian. Others have reported that officials in Washington believe it's time for an election and new leadership. Russian officials have also raised concerns about Zelensky's legitimacy, arguing that any international agreements signed under his leadership could be legally challenged. While Moscow has expressed a willingness to negotiate with Zelensky, it remains skeptical of his authority to finalize any lasting deal, which we've known for quite a while. So, he could be out in a matter of months. Within a few months. And what do we know? We know that according to Elder Jonah, that I just showed you in this last video, this should be the year that Zelensky is out. And Zelensky, or whoever they put in, would be replacing him. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few months on all of this that's going on with World War III. Wanted to share that with you, and thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support, and I hope you're having a great Saturday, and I will be back later. Thanks so much. Until next time.